What's up guys, Doomwake here. Welcome back to another modern video on the channel. Before we continue, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. Before we do continue, I just want to say thank you for letting me know what you guys thought of the previous video, that little deck guide we did on Teamer Footfalls. I know a lot of you did say in the comment section that you did enjoy the type of video, so thank you very much for that. Maybe potentially we could do something recurring with that, maybe for different decks or something along those lines. But today we're going to go back to the traditional sort of gameplay style video, so we are going to be playing some more Innistrad cards. But we gotta go back to the kitchen. We can't let Asmo down for any longer. We got to go back into the kitchen. It's time for everybody's favorite chef. So we are going to be playing some Golgari food with Innistrad cards. And if you watch the top 10 video that I did for top 10 Innistrad cards for Modern, you'll notice that we have a card from that list in this particular deck. And that card is Willow Geist. So, Willow Geist on your screen right here. It's a 1-mana 1/1 trample. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and when it dies, you gain life equal to its power. So, first of all, very, very powerful when you combine it with the Underworld Cookbook and Oval Chase Daredevil, which is the combination that we've seen. Basically, you tap the Cookbook, discard the Daredevil to make a food. The food brings back the Daredevil from your graveyard, so it's basically just tap, make a free food. But every iteration you do of that, the Daredevil goes to the graveyard and then leaves the graveyard. So every time you do that, you get a counter on the Willow Geist, which is pretty cool. So that's a way to pump the Willow Geist. We also have, a blast from, well, not a blast from the past, but everybody's favorite standard combination, everybody's favorite, I should say, Witch's Oven and Cauldron Familiar. So, Witch's Oven says tap, sack a creature, as you can see here. Tap, sack creature, make a food. Familiar says sack a food, bring it back. When it comes into play, you drain your opponent for 1. So you tap the oven, sacrifice the familiar, sacrifice the food that you got from the oven to bring back the familiar. You get to keep doing that over and over again. Notably, familiar goes to the graveyard, comes back into play, triggers the Willow Geist. The third thing that we have, well, actually I have 2 more things. The other thing that we have that triggers Willow Geist is Feasting Troll King, which is a card that we have had in this deck previously. A while back when I was, going towards the, a couple weeks into playing with the green-black food deck, I wasn't as big of a fan of Feasting Troll King. I was, more on Niddlesist and other payoffs that didn't rely on the graveyard. But because we were playing with Willow Geist, I wanted to go back to Troll King to see if that kind of moved the needle a little bit on the Willow Geist, give you more stuff to do with it. But Feasting Troll King is basically, if it's in your graveyard and you have 3 food lying around, you can put it into play. And it's pretty big, 7/6 Vigilance Trample. So it's kind of, not the easiest thing to kill, especially if everybody's loading up on Prismatic Ending. Excuse me. So it's not the easiest to kill. It does tie to Delirium Unholy Heat, which is a little unfortunate, but there are some draws with this deck where you go turn 1 Cookbook, discard Troll King, turn 2 second Cookbook, make 2 more food, put a 7/6 into play. And a 7/6 on turn 2 is, pretty hard for some decks to beat. And again, if it's in your graveyard and you put it into play, that's another counter on the Willow Geist. The last thing that we have that goes with the Willow Geist is another relatively new addition, but one I'm pretty fond of, and that's Life from the Loam, which is a 2-mana sorcery. You can return 3 lands from your graveyard to your hand, and you can dredge it back for 3. So a couple things here. First of all, when you cast Life from the Loam and put a land from your graveyard into your hand, there's a counter on the Geist. Second, when you dredge Life from the Loam, goes from your graveyard to your hand, counter on the Geist. Third, when let's say you have a Tranquil Thicket and you go Life from the Loam your Tranquil Thicket, you get a counter from that, and then you cycle the Tranquil Thicket, dredge the Loam, that's another counter. So Loam plus Tranquil Thicket is also a really powerful combination with the Willow Geist, so that's more stuff that we can use with the Geist. Now that being said, even as powerful as Loam plus Thicket is, that engine is really slow and not very mana efficient. Which means you'll see we only have 1 copy of Thicket and 2 copies of Loam. We're not going super heavy on that stuff. What we are going heavy on is the other cheaper food generation, the stuff that's more mana efficient, and then stuff like Feasting Troll King to be able to go over the top. Loam is sort of our long game engine. Also, notably, Life from the Loam, very good with Urza Saga, because Urza Saga dies naturally, get it back with Loam, and you can kind of keep that loop going against control decks. So this deck, for a deck that, is as low mana curved as it is, has a lot of late game power. You have Cookbook rebuying creatures for 4 mana. You have, again, Loam plus Urza Saga to go with that. You have Loam plus other lands that draw cards like Peatland and Tranquil Thicket. But yeah, that's kind of the engine that we're going for. And then obviously we're a deck with 4 Asmo, as you could imagine, because I love that card and I want to play it in every deck. Gilded Goose to kind of keep the food generation going. We have our Urza Saga targets here with Nihil Spellbomb and Shadow Spear. Pretty standard stuff here. And then the last card I want to touch on is Finale of Devastation, which is, when you look at it, you kind of say to yourself, well, we don't have any mana acceleration, which is usually what you see Finale of Devastation alongside with. We're trying to cast this for 0 every single time. There's rarely times where I'm going to Finale for anything but Asmo. Maybe if I have like 2 Ovens and a Familiar, I might get a Willow Geist, but most of the time when you're casting Finale, it's going to be for 0 for an Asmo. So a 2-mana card that puts Asmo directly onto the battlefield without asking you to discard a card from your hand, while also getting you the book. It sort of turns Asmo, like normally if you have a Cookbook and not a Daredevil, you have to put yourself down a card to play the Asmo and then get the Cookbook, which is still even on cards. With the Finale, you basically are up a card because you're discarding you're casting the Finale, getting the Asmo into play. That's card neutrality, and then you're just up the Cookbook. So it puts you up a card as opposed to card parity, which is really cool. And very important when you're on a low resource game and you need to be able to discard cards to the Cookbook. Another thing that's really good about Loam is that when you Loam back 3 lands, even if you don't have a Daredevil, you can discard those extra lands to Cookbook. So Loam plus Cookbook kind of accomplishes a similar thing to what Daredevil does if you don't have the Daredevil already. So a lot of cool interlocking synergies and pieces in this deck, and I'm pretty excited about this one. So, I love playing these decks, and this should be a fun one. And then mana base, nothing fancy over here, just some fetches, some shocks, pathways, blooming marshes, because we're only a 2-color deck, and I just want the most, ETB untapped lands that don't deal me damage that are also happen to be dual lands. So nothing special about those. And then when we get to the sideboard, 2 copies of Fatal Push to deal with Ragavan, Dragon's Rage Channeler, Tarmogoyf, that kind of stuff. Thoughtseize for the combo decks. Lane Line, which is I think a card that is increasing in stock a lot over the past couple of weeks with the rise of Reanimator and Phoenix with the printing of Faithful Mending from the new set. Big fan of Lane Line of the Void right now. So if your deck can support Lane Line of the Void, basically if you should play it, Very good card right now. Assassin's Trophy for Tron. This deck's kind of hoping to dodge Tron. We're not really ever beating Tron anyways. But yeah, Tron, Murktide Regent, that kind of stuff. Whenever, there's something that is hard to kill. Force of Vigor for Hammer Time. A copy of Pithing Needle when we want that for our Urza Saga package, like if our opponent has Planeswalkers, or sometimes they even bring this in against opposing Soul Guide Lanterns or Relics, because we have Nihil Spellbomb. So if you're playing against a non-black deck, a non-black Urza Saga deck, they usually have Soul Guide Lantern, that kind of stuff, or even the Blue-Red Murktide decks sometimes have a ton of Relic of Progenitus, so that's something that you could consider bringing in there. And then last but not least, gotta get those mill players out of here. We got 1 copy of Emrakul, the Eon's Torn, specifically here for mill. There's no other matchup you'd want to bring it in. You're never hardcasting it. I guess if you play a long enough game, you could Finale for 15, but we don't want to talk about that. Anyways, bring it in against mill. That's it. So, with all of that being said, I am pretty excited to showcase you guys this new Willow Geist deck. So, without further ado, let's get into some games. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. All right, everybody, round number 1, black-green food. So, what do we have here? We have a hand that has a Cookbook, an Asmo, a Familiar, a Geist. It's like kind of missing, it's missing a Daredevil or an Oven. Because like Oven's a good draw because we have Cat, Oven, Geist. Daredevil's a good draw because we have Cookbook, Daredevil, Asmo, Geist. I think given that we have the hand in and of itself doesn't do a whole lot. But we have, we have a curve. We have Geist into Asmo, and then, we have 2 Cookbooks left over. So I think it's okay. This matchup is tough on the draw, for sure. Definitely a tough matchup on the draw. It's not really a good draw. I have to lead on Cookbook here because I need to be able to get myself into a position where I'm going to end step make a food, untap, make a second food, get an Asmo into play, so then I will present on turn 2 an Asmo with an activation. Now, granted, if they just have the hammer, then yeah, we're probably in bad shape, but I mean, I guess I can chump block with the cat if I wanted to. Oh, man. How do I win this game? So I can discard cat, make a food, sack food, bring back cat, block. But I can also just do that next turn. Because I need to, basically, in order for me to win this game, I have to get myself into a position where I have 4 food prior to the saga going off, because I need to be able to kill the Ornithopter before they can get a Shadow Spear and put it on the Ornithopter. So because of that, I don't think I can afford to sacrifice a food to block with cat. I think that the food is more important, because I can just block next turn. I guess ultimately I'm going to have to block, and maybe it's better to block now when they don't have the Shadow Spear, but... Okay, that's actually kind of a decent draw. So what we can do is we can discard Loam, cast Asmo, get a book, play the second book, and now I can go make a third food, sacrifice a food, bring back cat down to 2 food. Next turn, dredge Loam, cast Loam, discard 2 cards, have 4 food to kill this. Okay. So, you know, this isn't the worst. Obviously a tentative position, but it definitely could be a lot worse. Alright, they have a Saga. They have a Genius Smith. Okay. I mean, I'm not really in a position to be able to beat just the natural Shadow Spear. So it's one of those things where if they have it, they have it. Revealed a Sentinel. Okay, Sentinel's fine. Then gets a counter. So we do not know their last card. I will bring back Familiar. And I will block. Again, we definitely can't beat Shadow Spear this turn. I'm not going to try and play around it. Okay. Well, they only have 1 copy, and they drew it, so... Cool. Alright, game number 2. I mean, I guess I'm not technically dead. I can chump block with Asmo, but I have no odds at that point. Fatal Push and Force of Vigor coming in. Loam is a little bit too slow. I don't need the Spell Bomb, and I usually trim on Familiar Oven. The reason I trim on Familiar Oven is because of the presence of Shadow Spear. So being able to, like, sort of brick their creatures doesn't always happen. I guess there is consideration to cutting a Troll King, but on the play, I think Troll King is a reasonable plan. The reason I'm not cutting Willow Geist, even though it is one of your slower cards to be able to get going, you need a sufficient number of green cards to be able to pitch to Force of Vigor. So that's why I'm choosing to keep that over additional Familiars and Ovens. Okay, I mean, this hand needs a sacrifice, or this hand needs a discard outlet for Asmo, but we have turn 1 Geist, turn 2 Oven Familiar, attack for 2, turn 3. Yeah, I don't know. This hand looks pretty good on the play. I don't hate it. Lead on Geist. This is definitely one of your better turn 1 Willow Geist hands. Is it going to be enough? You know, maybe not, but... Okay, Sigarda's Aid. So they know my top card. Let's take a look and see what it is. It is a Finale of Devastation, which I cannot cast right now. Attack. Maybe they'll block. Maybe they'll block. No, there's no way they're blocking. Okay. I'll get my extra damage, because I'm going to do this anyways. And even if I have to block, like, if they attack, I'm going to block. I'm just going to force the issue with the hammer. Again, just hope they don't have the Au Naturel Shadow Spear. It's kind of annoying when they draw their one Shadow Spear. Because, you know, I played that entire, like, game one, I played that entire game around being able to beat the Shadow Spear off of the Urza Saga, and it's just, like, kind of annoying that they drew their one card, you know what I mean? It's just, there's nothing I can do about it. It just kind of, it's one of those things where it just is what it is. And this is not a free attack. Alright, attack you. Trigger. I mean, this is a beatdown hand. This is a beatdown hand. Smith. What do we find? Smith finding Shadow Spear. There's that damn Shadow Spear. Good news is they don't have a hammer this time. At least yet. So their Shadow Spear is not as threatening. So we need to hope they don't find a hammer. Now the issue is they have a lot more hammers than they do Shadow Spears. So now that they've naturally drawn the Shadow Spear, it's more likely they find a hammer, which obviously is not good for us. We could draw a Force of Vigor. If I draw Force, I think that we're probably locked, but it's gotta be Force. They don't quite have to block. They can go to 1. Because it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's only 8. Okay. That's not a bad one. I'm trying to think if there's a reason to... Oh, no. I don't want to play that first. I'm going to attack. Because now they actually do have to block. If they don't block, they die, because I can finale for another familiar. No, I boarded out the third familiar, didn't I? Yeah, okay, so I can't actually finale for a familiar. Never mind. So this is not a lethal attack. Okay, so let's sacrifice the familiar. Get back the familiar. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, so they go to 1. Can I finale for anything? Just take a look at the deck list. I can finale for a goose. Does that get me anywhere? Not really, right? Just make sure I'm not missing anything. The third familiar is not in the deck. Kind of wish I had the third familiar, I guess. I can finale for Asmore, but I can't use Asmore. Right? Finale for Asmo. Put it into play, get a book. Yeah, we're a little bit short. Oh man, I'm gonna come up 1 point short, aren't I? Just trying to make sure there's nothing I'm missing. I think so. Play this, right? Because if I get goose, I have an extra food in play, but the familiar's in play, not in my graveyard. Okay. Let's just do this for 0 then. Alright. Please don't kill me. Go. Man. 1 point short. We are in bad shape if they have a hammer. Really bad shape, especially because they can just start moving stuff around at that point. Well, we're actually dead if they have a hammer, right? They need to land in a hammer. Like, because they can go animate the Inkmoth, equip the hammer, reanimate the Inkmoth. I don't have a flying blocker. I guess they can't tap the clearing, so they can't do that, right? So maybe the clearing is causing them some issues. I feel like I missed lethal there. I mean, if I finale pre-combat for a goose and make an extra food, it doesn't do anything, right? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I missed lethal, but let me know in the comments. Please yell at me if I miss lethal there, because I have a feeling I missed something. Oh, we usually want this needle, don't we? The only problem with needle, like, it does stop Nexus, but it's kind of awkward. I guess on the draw, I think I can afford to cut one. Maybe if I'm cutting a loam, I want to cut the thicket. Yeah, I'm on the draw, too. I don't really need the 23rd land. The 23rd land is more so A, for life from the loam, and B, when you're on the play. But when you're on the draw with no loam, you don't really need that extra land, especially because thicket is just not that good. You don't really have time for that kind of stuff. Needle in the opener. This hand's really slow. We have basically nothing on turn 1 of relevance. We have a needle, which can name, Nexus or Hammer. And then we have an Asmo on turn 2 with a Daredevil, which is good. But I think we have to mulligan a little bit. We have to mulligan to a more aggressive hand, and this hand is definitely more aggressive. So I can go turn 1 Cookbook, discard Daredevil. Turn 2... I think what I'm going to do, because I want to keep both lands to be able to cast the finale, I think I'm going to put back the Troll King and just hope to draw a green card to activate the Force. Or, like, give myself the opportunity, if I absolutely need to cast the Force, I can pitch the finale. So. But I think I have to keep the Daredevil, given that I have a turn 1 Cookbook. That's annoying. It's very annoying, actually, because they get the draw card off the Cookbook. I'm still going to cast it. Alright, they have a Saga. So now I could force the Sentinel in the Saga, which I think is pretty good. Give them a card. And then be down to nothing left. But I don't know. I still have the Daredevil and the Cookbook going. I think it's okay. Because, like, I kind of want to kill the Sentinel anyways, and I 100% am going to have to kill the Saga. Like, there's no way I don't kill the Saga. The only downside to doing this is if I draw a green card that's not a finale, I could pitch that and still cast the finale. The problem with that is then I cast the finale into the Sentinel, they draw a card, and then I cast the Force and they draw another card. So I'm giving them an extra card by doing it the other way, by waiting. Because then I just have to cast the finale into the Sentinel anyways. So I think this makes more sense. Because I just give them one less card. Granted, I pitch my only other good card, but... Yeah, let's just make a food now. Let's just make a food. Asmo? Yeah. Okay. It's not exactly what we're looking for, but... Maybe they're a little choked on lands. Nope. 2 mana. Stoneforge. What you got? I will say, Willow Geist did look pretty impressive that last game. And it wouldn't even be that bad if we drew it here. Still just, get a +1/+1 counter every turn. Card's powerful. I like that card. Alright, Stoneforge Mystique. Getting the hammer. Okay. Gonna play the hammer. Getting the drum. Okay. So they have hammer and 3 unknowns. Let's make a food, get it back. Drew another cookbook. Not exactly what we're looking for. I mean, if we find an Asmo, we're in pretty good shape. Asmo or Finale. And that's kind of why Finale is so important. Like, this deck is so reliant on having Asmo that just having, 8 copies of it effectively is definitely where you want to be. Alright, well, now they get to go hammer, equip, attack for 11. Probably not looking good for us. They have a second hammer, we're just dead. Not technically dead, because I can go to 22 and take 21. So I got a 1. Not that I realistically have any outs, but... yeah. I guess I messed up with the force play. I should have waited. Yeah, that's where I lost this game. I think I just cast force a little bit too aggressively. Shouldn't F6. So I do have to sack a food. So we got a 1. I don't think I have any outs. The problem with waiting on the force is, again, I would have given them an extra card, and I didn't even draw a green card. So, like, the question is, I guess the thing is, Asmo can probably just beat Saga heads up, but that's not even necessarily true, because if I let the Saga go all the way to Chapter 3, they can just get a Pithing Needle. So that was kind of my thinking, right? If I let them have the Saga the entire way, they get 2 constructs, which Asmo can beat, given enough food. The problem is they just get to needle the Asmo and then start going off from there. So it's like, the Saga representing... well, I guess I'm not dead if they don't have a Shadow Spear, but... the Saga representing not only 2 threats, but also an answer to the Asmo, meant that, you know, I was going to have to deal with it eventually, but... oh, I'm just dead to the Nexus, right? They know my last card. Okay, sure. Yeah, so, I don't know, it's tough. You know, I ended up casting the Force of Vigor on turn 2 when they played the Saga. I think if I don't cast the Finale, if I don't cast the Force, excuse me, I then untap, play Finale for an Asmo, they make a Saga token, then I can start making some food, potentially kill the first Saga token, kill the Sentinel, but then they just get to make a second construct, then needle on the Asmo, so then they still have a construct in play. Now I can't activate the Asmo. I guess maybe it would have given me an out to draw a 4th land to then hardcast the Force on the needle, but I don't know. That's a tough game. This matchup is pretty tough, though. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed the games, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 2. Alrighty, YouTube, back here for round number 2, black-green food. Let's see what we got. Geist Oven, 5 lands. Geist Oven, 5 lands. We do have a Pete land, so we can cycle, but this hand just doesn't really do anything. I'm going to ship it. Okay, this hand is significantly better. I think I'm supposed to put back the Loam, because I really want to keep Goose into Finale. I want to keep my 3rd land to be able to play Saga and not have to play Loam on the turn after. And I want to keep Troll King because this is going to get me a cookbook. So I think all of that means that I should just put back the Loam, I think. I think that makes the most sense. It is kind of nice because Loam does like keep the cookbook flowing, but drawing a Daredevil is good too. I would like to play the Saga this turn, so let's just go... let's just Finale for 0. Get the Asmo, play the Saga, play the Cookbook off the Asmo. Or Cookbook off of the Saga, I should say. Flooded Strand is generally a pretty good matchup for Urza Saga. Sure. Get a Swamp. Get the book, play the Saga, play the book, pass the turn. We can discard Daredevil this turn. We could Troll King next turn instead of making a Saga token, but I think that's probably just worse. So let's just do this. Ooh, we drew the Loam too, which is really good with Saga. Yeah, so what I could do is I could discard Troll King, make a food with Goose, and get back the Troll King, but I think that's worse than just making a Saga token. I'm not even going to cast the Loam. I'm just going to pass, I think. I could cast the Loam and sack the food, and then just start dredging, but yeah, I'm just going to pass. Because I'd rather just cast the Loam next turn when the Saga's in the graveyard. Like, them not knowing I have the Loam might make them play a little bit differently. If that makes sense. Because I can just cast it and play the Saga next turn anyways. Okay, well, I guess they just missed their land drop. I think they were probably just in rough shape anyways. Okay, so we have to worry about Rest in Peace. Rest in Pieces. Rest in Pepperoni. Alright, the Spell Bomb and the Shadow Spear are not necessary. The Needle is good. So that's our swap. How do I want to go about handling Rest in Peace? I believe I want to bring in Thoughtseize and Trophy. I'm not a huge fan of Force because you have to 2-for-1 yourself against the blue-white control deck, which is not usually where you want to be. I think it's just kind of like Thoughtseize, hope it's in their hand. I mean, I understand that Trophy is also a 2-for-1, but it's a little less devastating than pitching a card to casting a Force and getting it countered. So I think I'm going to do this, and I'm going to trim on... I think I'm going to trim on Geist, because it's my worst threat against Verdict. And then... I think I'm going to cut the third Familiar. Yeah, that's good. Let's do that. I mean, there's also the underrated line of just dodge the Rest in Peace. Just hope they don't draw it. This hand's really good. Thoughtseize into Finale. Pretty good. This is exactly where you want the Thoughtseize. So you can just take the Rest in Peace. They're casting a spell. Relic. I was not prepared for that one. I'm still going to cast Thoughtseize. Maybe take their answer to Asmo. Snapcaster, consider Borrower. There is some consideration to take the Borrower to like try to set up Troll King, but this kind of prevents the Troll King anyways. I'm just going to take Consider. Try and see if they miss some land drops. I think I like it. It's a little greedy, but... They drew a land. And let's go... I'm just going to thin my deck. I want to get non-basics too, because they showed me Path. Let's go Finale for Asmo. Go Search. Get an Asmo. Get a book. We're going to Petty Theft the Asmo. Okay, that's fine. And I had book to recast it, so it doesn't even really accomplish that much. I guess they just get the... They can just play a 3-1 this turn, I guess, but... That is fine. That is fine. I think I might try and debate them into utilizing into using the relic. So what if I go... What if I go Basic Forest Cookbook, discard Daredevil, don't even... Like, I know I could play the Cookbook first, but I kind of want them to use the relic, because I kind of just don't even care about this Daredevil. Yeah, because I'd much rather protect this thing. So now we can go cast Asmo. I guess we can't play the Troll King this turn, but we're pretty close. But just being able to... I think baiting the relic out is pretty good, because I'd much rather protect this. And the thing is, if I play the other Cookbook before doing the other thing... Like, let's say I play Cookbook first. They know that they can't pop the relic because I can just discard another card to get back the Daredevil, so they just won't pop the relic. The only way that I can force the relic is by doing it the way that I did it. So even though I'm giving up the Daredevil when I could, prevent that, I kind of wanted that to happen, because I think this is a more potent threat. If that all makes sense. All right, so let's go Discard the Troll King. Play the Asmo. And what do we got? We got a Misty for a Triome. So we'll get the last book. Play a Goose. Opponent's commenting on the Feasting Troll King. Let's go play another book, and I think I'm just gonna hold my lands for now. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold my lands. Alright, we still know they have a Snapcaster Mage, but because they popped the Relic, they don't have anything to do with the Snapcaster. That was also another nice thing about popping, like, forcing the Relic activation there, is they, like, have a Snapcaster Mage in their hand that now doesn't really do anything. What do we got? What do we got? Gain control of the Asmo. And they have a Snapcaster Mage in hand. I think they were supposed to do this on their turn, because now I can discard less resources to have it kill itself. So let's do this. Have it shoot itself. Sucks if they have a path on the Troll King, which is maybe what they're setting up, but... Ooh, that's a really good draw. Let's play the Oven. Although if they have path, they can just do it in response. Let's go... They're at 16. We know they have a Snapcaster in hand. I think I should just attack Teferi. Although... I guess they're just going to Snap Charm steal the Oven. Because they're gonna try and set up path, I think. I'm still just going to pass, though. I want to keep my lands in my hand. Because there is a chance that I might want to discard the cards in my hands to cookbooks, but I guess it's not very likely. Given that I have the Goose for additional food generation. Oh, there we go. That's perfect. Let's go to combat. So what I'm likely going to do is this turn is attack for 7. They're probably just going to take it. I'm going to play my land and pass. And then I'm going to end step, make 2 food, and get back the Asmo. I guess I could have played the 4-2. I could have just went food, 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 play 4-2. Maybe that would have been better. Drawing 2 cards, not stealing the Oven. Okay, it's fine. So they still have this Borrower over here, just chilling. So yeah, we can go end step, make 2 food, rebuy Asmo, which I think is pretty good. Alright, let's go make a food. Make a food. Rebuy the Asmo. Get that thing back. Untap. Drew a Finale as well. Could just Finale for Cat. Let's try and bait a counterspell with the Asmo. Because Finale is actually lethal. If they don't block, that is. Because the Finale gets the Cat, which puts them to 1. Okay, counter spell. Alright, let's go to attacks. Yeah, because I can Finale for Cat. I guess they might just tap or bounce this, but... Attack for 7. What's this? Petty Theft. Alright, I'll just sack it. Sack it so they don't get their Borrower, and I can just get back the Troll King anyways. So now I think we're going to Finale for 0. Maybe it's still better to Finale for 1. I'm actually going to get one from my library. I think I'm out of books, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm out of books. I am fresh out of books. Fresh out of books. And then And we'll get back the Troll King. Still have 2 food up, just in case we need to kill something. I guess this is worse if they have Path. But if they have Path on Troll King, I can actually just Asmo to kill it. So it goes back to my graveyard. So even if they have Path, this is still probably fine. Alright, they're off it. Cool. I mean, that was a good showing. Matchups like this are generally really good for us if they don't have Graveyard Hate. I mean, you saw that game. They had Relic, but we kind of put them into a spot where we gave them a good opportunity to utilize the Relic, and it's a lot easier to beat that kind of stuff, like Soul Guide, Relic, Spellbomb, than it is Rest in Peace and Leyline. Because you can just get them into a spot where you kind of force the issue, and that's kind of what we did that game. So that was kind of cool. 1-1, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 3. All right, everybody, round number 3. 1-1, Golgari food. Let's see if we can keep it going, as it were. Well, this hand has an Urza Saga, so I will keep. That's the nice thing about this deck, is you have some cool synergies, and then sometimes you just play Saga and your opponent dies. So, well, we're going to hope that that's one of those games. We do have some stuff going on. We got, Cookbook, discard Familiar, get it back, all that stuff, but we are just going to try and Saga them. That's why Urza Saga is a ridiculous Magic card. Some decks just have a really hard time beating the first copy, because it's just worth so many cards. This could be Enchantress. They chose white. Yeah, it looks like Enchantress. Ooh. Yeah, Finale's not that great against Enchantress. I think it's still probably better to cast Finale this turn. I think. Because if I play Saga, I'm not casting Finale next turn, and if they have like a Sithis or something, I'm gonna really wish I had this Asmo in play. Also, one thing I think I may have messed up, if I was planning on not discarding with the Familiar on turn 1, I probably should have just played Familiar on 1 instead of Cookbook. Destiny Spinner. Yeah, that's fine. Still not going to activate the Cookbook yet. Feasting Troll King. Well, I guess I got punished for not activating the Cookbook. Cookbook, huh? Let's do this. Yeah. Well, yeah, so I guess maybe I should have, tried to give myself the opportunity to draw a Troll King and made a food end of turn, because then I could have went second Cookbook, discard, get back Troll King, whereas now I can't do that. I'm just going to play out my cards. That's the turn. So now we can go end of turn, discard Troll King, untap, discard, and then also make a Saga token while putting a Feasting Troll King into play. This would have looked a lot better if we had the Troll King in play, though. So I guess I should have thought about that and potentially made a thing in the turn. Enchantress's Presence. Generally, this matchup is not great for us, because our interaction is not really worth all that much. Okay. Well, they're choosing to cast Anthonice, which I could really care less about because we have another Familiar anyways. So that doesn't really do all that much. Sure. This is fine. I'll take 2. So end of turn, discard Troll King. Untap. Second Troll King. Okay, so let's go discard Troll King, discard Familiar, get back Troll King, pass with Saga activation up, and then we'll have a 7/6 and a 4/4. And we can probably kill them in 2 turns. The question is, are we going to get 2 turns? It's a good question. All right, Troll King, your move. Although, to be fair, they have the second Anthonice, so maybe I'm just 2,000 IQ and waited on the Troll King, 2,000 IQ. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's probably good enough. They also have Rest in Peace. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. And now 2 of our familiars are gone. Not that we can even kill the Rest in Peace game 1, but... So we just have to hope that they run out of gas. Let's just get this. Alright, go. Your turn. Yeah, our only hope is that they somehow run out of enchantments. And they have to either bin the confinement or... Yeah. Because the confinement doesn't mean they skip their draw step. Ooh, they sack the confinement. Okay. We're still alive. I think. Potentially still alive. Okay, Destiny Spinner. So this thing could make 7/7s? But our constructs still get around that. Let me read this again. Target land you control becomes an XX, where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's still a land. 1, 2, 3. Oh, they also can't activate it, right? Because they have to pay 4. And they only have 4 lands untapped. So, let's just equip here. Attack with everything. So they chump block here, 7, 14, 15, 16. So yeah, they have to actually block with both of these. Oh, or they just take it. Okay. Cool. That was weird. I didn't think I was going to win that game. Guess they just ran out of gas. All right, Force of Vigor coming in. Do we also want Thoughtseize? Definitely don't want Push. Needle shuts off Sterling Grove, but I don't think that's good enough. Leyline's bad. Emerald's bad. Push bad. So it's like Trophy Thoughtseize is the other cards we're thinking of. I'm not in love with Willow Geist because they're likely going to keep in all their on-thin ices. I think Loam is kind of not the game we're trying to play against them. We're trying to just get them dead. Which I guess Willow Geist does a pretty good job of, huh? Just getting them dead. What if I did something like this and not brought in the Thoughtseizes? Green card count would be 4, 8, 9, 12, 15, 19, which is pretty good. Oh, I guess I could cut the Spell Bomb and the Shadow Spear. I don't need that stuff. The Shadow Spear is kind of nice, though, having Trample. Trample's pretty relevant, I think. What if I cut a Daredevil and had 2 Thoughtseizes? Let's try that. Oh, I should have cut the Thicket. Right, because we cut the Loam. I keep forgetting that. When I cut the Loam, you want to cut the Thicket. And that should be the 3rd Thoughtseize. Which would make a little bit more sense. Well, I have Thoughtseize and I have Force of Vigor. And if I draw a green card, I also have turn 2 Finale, so I think I should probably keep this hand. Just kind of fantasy update. Uh-oh. One of my receivers is out. It's not good. I don't really have many backups either. Well, I don't have good backups, but... Utopia Sprawl. Okay, that's fine. How about an Urza Saga? Alright, let's Thoughtseize you. Stony Silence, Sithis. So I think my plan is take Sithis and then force the Sithis and the Utopia Sprawl, and just not really care about the Stony Silences. Like, Stony Silence is kind of annoying, but Saga does just beat it straight up, so... Like, Saga doesn't really care about Stony Silence. They're leading on Sithis. So their hand is Stony, X. I could even draw a card first, right? Because if I find a green card, I'm just not going to pitch the Finale. So let's do that. Okay. Did not find a green card. Now I can actually play Saga to get some pressure going. So let's play Saga, and then plan on forcing this. Forcing these 2 on their upkeep. Oh, now they also don't have white mana. Unless they found a land, but... That was another benefit of waiting. Because now they might not have white mana, which looks like they don't. I'm just going to fetch main phase. Sometimes they bring in Blood Moon, I'll get a forest. I want to fetch main phase so they can't respawn and like blow up my saga. Okay. Everything appears to be going just perfectly. Let's make another construct, get a book to make the constructs bigger. Alright, well, turns out Force of Vigor, good against a deck that has all enchantments. You learn something new every day. Alright, attack for 4. They're actually... no, not quite dead if they don't find a land. Not dead yet, because I can only make this a 10 power attack. They found a forest. Okay. Again, fetching basics to play around Blood Moon. You never know. Let's just go discard this. And it's time for some 4-2 beats. And they're at 4. So you have 3 lethal creatures. They basically have to find white mana and solitary confinement. And we know 2 of their cards are Stony Silences. So, looking pretty good. Alright, seems like we got him. Cool. Again, I don't usually expect to win this matchup, at least game 1. Game 2, obviously, you have a lot more play, because Force of Vigor is just absurd against them. But game 1 is rough, so I'm fairly lucky to steal game 1, and then just hope to draw Force of Vigor in the post-board games. So, we're 2-1. Haven't drawn Willow Geist a ton, but the games we have drawn it so far, it's been pretty good, so... Anyways, 2-1. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 4. Alrighty, YouTube, round number 4, 2-1 currently. This hand is a 1-lander against Luris, so I think I'm not about that. Okay. This hand does some things. I think I'm going to put back the Shadow Spear. We're just going to go turn 1, green land, probably Goose. Hammer Time again. Hand is pretty bad against Hammer Time. Hand is pretty bad against Hammer Time, I will say that. Don't love this. I feel like I haven't seen Bench Summer play Hammer Time ever. Maybe there's something different going on. This is going to be the league where we just like 3-0 the fair decks and just get completely stomped by Hammer into the other 2 matches. Might be. Yeah, just playing Hammer. I mean, I don't know. After board, I think this matchup is close, but closer, because Force of Vigor is so good against them. Alright, well, I don't really have anything else to do, so play an Oven. I think I'll just pay. Yeah, I'll just pay and then use the food to play the Geist. Your turn. Not a lot going on. Not a lot going on. This is one of those matchups that you really, really have to have a fast Asmo in order to have any chance. Because your non-Asmo draws are never going to be good enough. And sometimes your Asmo draws still aren't even good enough. Because their deck is just so fast. Alright, take 3... Got really nothing going on. They're even ahead in the Saga race, too, which is bad. Alright, Urborg, your turn. And they're even outpacing our constructs. We're just losing on all fronts, basically. They're losing on every possible front that you could lose on. Alright, I'm going to make a token just in case they get a Needle. You never know. Can't imagine they would Needle Saga, but... I think, I mean, even if I draw Asmo, I can't cast it. I guess I have to draw Finale. Is Finale even good enough? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, there's no way that finale is good enough. God, we know they have Shadow Spear, so I kind of have to block this turn. Alright, I guess I'll take my block. Guess I will take my block while I can. Basically, finale or bust. And again, I don't even think finale is good enough. Alright, that's certainly not going to do it. Okay, we've seen enough. So we're going to bring in, same thing we did the last time, Force, Fatal Push. I don't like Thoughtseize against them. Leyline sucks. Potentially Needle if we have enough stuff to cut. So what do? We cut a Spell Bomb, a Familiar, an Oven, the 2 Loams, because they're too slow. And this has us bringing in the Needle over something else. I'm going to cut one of the Geists, because if we're trimming out a Familiar and an Oven, cutting a Geist makes a lot of sense. Even though our green card count, 4, 7, 10, 13, 17. It's like one below where I'd want to be, but all these green cards kind of suck. So I think we just have to live with this. Oh no, we wanted to cut the Thicket. Right. Yeah. Never mind, I'm dumb. I remembered this time. Okay. Game number 2. Alright. Opponent is back. We have a Book, a Goose, a Geist. Yeah, okay. I guess I'll keep this. I mean, this hand has, like, some good pressure. We can play turn 1 Geist. Turn 1 Geist, turn 2 Cookbook plus probably Goose. Or maybe just Cookbook and pay. Yeah, let's actually just go Cookbook, pay, I think. Because then next turn we can go make a food, get this thing to a 3/3, and then get the Troll King. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Well, that was fun. And oh man. I mean, if they don't have Shadow Spear, then maybe we're okay. Let's go Cauldron Familiar. Goose. Trigger. Discard Troll King. Make a food. Get back Troll King. Attack for 3 and hope they don't have Shadow Spear. Let's see if they have the natty Shadow Spear again. I guess they could have a Stoneforge Mystic, but... Yep, that's hammer time for you. That is hammer time for you. So it's 12 minus 6 is 6, so I guess I'm not dead if I jump block with the Troll King. So I go to 4. I guess I could draw Force of Vigor. Maybe that gets me out of this. So I can go Finale, discard make a food, sack the food, Finale for Asmo, play the Cookbook, but then I'm only on 1 food. Yeah, I'm just dead. Really unfortunate. Again, I think this matchup is, like, kind of bad, but, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, I got nothing. Anyways, I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 5. Alright, YouTube, round number 5. We are free from Luris, thank God, because I'm really sick of playing against Hammer Time. Anyways, round number 5. Let's see if we can complete the 3-2. This hand is a little sketchy because our green source enters the battlefield tapped. However, we have turn 1 Thicket, turn 2 Saga, Goose plus Cookbook. This hand goes places. I think it's good enough to keep. And if we draw an untapped green source, it's even that much better. Alright, well, drawing a Saga is not ideal, but I'll take it. Could be worse. Alright, some blue-white control, perhaps. Okay, drawing Finale. I actually think I'm going to lead on Oven, so that if they kill the Goose, I can sack it to get a food. So let's go Saga, Oven, and then Goose. Oven first, just in case they have like a Bolt or a Path or something like that. You never know. I would ideally like to draw a land that isn't another Urza Saga, so I can make a food without having to play the other Saga. They're gonna ending the Oven, which is fine. Not gonna sack the Goose. They have another ending? No. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Alright, it's Saga time. It is Saga time. They have 5 cards. We also have the Loam to go with the Saga, which is pretty nice in this matchup. Yeah, they're doing nothing, which is pretty good for us. Just gonna keep making Sagas. Not bad either. Saga, Saga. Let's get... I mean, I have a cookbook in hand, but if they have a counterspell for this cookbook, maybe that's bad. I could also just get another Oven, which gives me some value if they have a Verdict. That's actually probably my best line. Just get the Oven. Play the other Saga. Play a cookbook. See if they want to counter this. They probably don't. Maybe they do. Depends on their hand. 3. Getting the Oven also plays around Charm, because they can't steal a token. This is what, counterbounce a Construct token? Sack the Construct token to the Oven. If that is their play. Maybe also counter draw. Counter bounce Saga. Interesting. Here. Attack for 4. Your go. So they go to 14. I mean, this is almost certainly Verdict, right? Yeah. All right. So we'll get 2 food out of this. Get 2 food. Play another Saga. And then we can go... I guess, do we want a Loam, or do we just want to put another... let's just put an Asmo into play. It's more pressure. Because we can just Loam after we kind of loop all these... go through all these Sagas. We also get to get a cookbook into play, which is not too bad. Yeah. No reason to cast a Loam yet until we get back multiple Sagas. But they're just not really doing anything. It's going to be pretty hard for them to beat this without some sort of graveyard hate. Yeah, that definitely doesn't matter. Because we can just kill the Shark type. We can just kill the Shark tokens with Asmo. If we even really care about them. So attack for 3. I'm just going to play Saga and make a token, I think. Might as well play a Goose. It's kind of free. Kind of have them covered on all bases. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can make a 5/5 if they have another Shark. Could play Teferi, but we can just kill the token. And they can't cast Verdict, so they're drawing a card. Alright, we'll go to end step. I will shoot the token. Let's go make a food. And then we'll make another construct. And they have to have an answer for the construct, because this is a lethal attack. So maybe they have Charm. Alright, let's go... Let's just float mana with this one, because I could just hold up this if they have some kind of answer. So let's make mana. Let's get, I guess, another Oven. It's better if they have Verdict. And that gets the thing. Can go cast Life from the Loam, back to Sagas. Then we'll go play a Saga, attack with both. Okay, play a Saga. We'll threaten a lethal attack. I guess if they just have, like, a spell... Casting Factor Fiction, which we just have beat, right? 11, 10, 9. Yeah, we just have that beat. I guess they could have Solitude. That is a card they could have. So let's just split the white cards just in case they have Solitude. So, okay, hold on. No. If they have Solitude, then they take this 3 pile, they pitch to Fairy, their leftover is Shark Typhoon Colonnade versus, yeah, so this is better, I think. Because if they probably have to take this pile if they have Solitude, so they just get 1 less card. So it's basically like the white card is whatever in this situation because they have Solitude. It's just Charm versus the other 2, and I think Charm is the better of the 3. But it turns out they didn't have Solitude, so we're good. Game number 2 against blue-white control. Again, a little bit worried about Rest in Peace. I think we're going to do the same thing we did last time, which was Thoughtseize and Trophy in Needle. Shadow Spear and Spellbomb out. I believe we trimmed on Oven Familiar, if I remember correctly. And then I want to say we trimmed... Was it a Willow Geist or a Daredevil? I feel like we trimmed a Daredevil. Yeah, I want to say that's what we did. I think that makes sense to me. At game number 2, Asmo 6 lands. Probably not going to cut it. We do have a Thicket, which does turn on Asmo, but I think we can do a little bit better. And this hand, I would say, is a little bit better. How do I want to proceed? I'm a little bit worried about them either countering or prismatic endinging my first cookbook. So, like, if I put back a cookbook, I lead on Goose, then I play cookbook, they counter it down, I can't cast my Asmo. So I think I'm actually going to put back a land and keep the second cookbook just in case they deal with the first one. I think this makes sense. I'm going to lead on Goose either way. And now I can play cookbook. If they counter it, play second cookbook, resolve it, play Asmo. So I think this makes sense. Yeah, prismatic ending for Goose. That's fine. I was going to say, I wouldn't mind drawing a Daredevil, but no such luck. Let's play Forest, play Cookbook, discard the Catacombs, play an Asmo. Be nice to draw Life from the Loam, because Loam really gets me going with the fetch land and the cookbooks. So that would be kind of cool. Blue. What's this? Cycle Shark Typhoon? Chalice on 1. Sure. I accept. Okay. Well, I guess I'll attack. Chalice on 1 is a little annoying. It's pretty good against my deck. Oh, opponent. Opponent, come on. Opponent with the Chalice check. Ooh, that's a good draw. Attack for 3. I mean, it sucks that they have Verdict, but I'm not going to not go for it. I'm not going to not go for it. Be really nice if I could cast this Thoughtseize, so I could see if they have a Verdict, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to cast Thoughtseize. Well, I'm allowed to cast Thoughtseize, but, you know, to very marginal effect. So now they bounce Troll King, and I kill Tef. Okay. Still can't play any of my cards. Your turn. Okay, maybe I should be bringing in Force of Vigor in this matchup. Maybe, just maybe, I should be bringing in Force of Vigor. I know it does kind of suck against just like counterspells and having to 2-for-1 yourself in general against them, but it's probably necessary. Ooh, we can do something with that. I mean, not really, because I'm just going to get back the troll, but I got all my books. I got no books. I mean, I have to imagine they have Verdict, right? Like, they've been missing a bunch of land drops, and gotta imagine they have a Verdict. Not that there's really much I can do about it, because they have this Chalice, but what's this? Archmage's Charm the Asmo. So I could have it fight itself, and then I'm 3 turns away from the Troll King, or I could just let this happen and hope they don't have Verdicts, which I think is probably a better line, so let's do that. Troll King. I just can't put myself 3 turns away from putting this Troll King into play. I kind of just have to do it and hope they don't have it. Don't really think I have many other choices. Blue-white. Spreading Seas. Okay. Sure. Spreading Seas. The seas have been spread. Notably, they don't have Verdict mana up now. So maybe this is okay for us? It's a good draw. I think I have to attack Teferi. Just them being able to hold up Verdict if I don't attack Teferi seems kind of bad for me. They're chump blocking? I didn't know they played that card. I did not know they played that card. Alright, Saga go. It's pretty cool. Because now they get the Tef again. Maybe plus. Maybe bounce the Troll King. Sure. Why are they main phasing that? I just think they would main phase that. Especially when I have the Saga, you know? Like, I feel like they would want to just wait until I make a construct. Wonder what that means. Oh, sure. Okay. Fine. I mean, they gotta bounce, right? Yep. Troll King has been bounced. Your turn. Still can only make 1 food. We'll get there eventually. I mean, we have to beat their 7 cards, which is probably not very, very likely at this point. Blue-white. I mean, they have 6 cards in their hand. I guess I'll play it out. I guess I have... Whoops. I guess I have 1 trophy, right? Yeah, I brought in 1 trophy as my only answer to Chalice. Alright, go. I probably should have brought back the familiar end of turn there, because I know that I can't really get to this Troll King. Yeah, no, because I can't even cast Finale. I don't have double green. And I can't... All of my food generation costs like 1 mana. Chalice on 0. You got it. Not attacking me with Colonnade, huh? Classic blue-white control player. Alright, 4-2 beats. 4-2 trades for a Colonnade. 4-2 does in fact trade for a Colonnade. Ah, they're countering it. Alright. Still have enough mana to activate the Colonnade, so I can't attack. Alright, I've seen enough. I have seen enough. Okay, game number 3. Stupid, stupid Chalice. Do we want to bring in some answers to Chalice? I mean, we have a trophy, we have Thoughtseize, so we'd have to bring in Force of Vigor. What would we cut? What if I just trimmed a couple of Geist? Not like Geist in the play. All these cards seem good. Maybe I could trim on the familiar oven stuff and bring in 2 forces? Let's try it. They have Rest in Peace and Chalice. Like, Force of Vigor does not seem that bad. Sand is awkward. I think it's a keep, though. Unfortunately, it has no way to turn on Asmo. Wish we did. Alright, Goose go. Goose go. Honk. Time to honk. I could play Oven and Needle. I don't really know what I want to Needle yet, so let's just play Oven and pass, I think. Kind of really depends on what they have. I guess if they just play like a land and do nothing, maybe I'll Needle on Teferi. Oh, they have Chalice, okay. That was the punishment for not playing the Needle, and I sort of understood that that was a possibility, but I wanted to give myself some more information. Okay, well that was a good draw. Because they have Spreading Seas. That was an excellent draw. Okay, no Spreading Seas, no Teferi. I like that. Let's make a food. Untap. Ooh, that's a nice one. Alright, let's just thin my deck a little bit. And we'll ship the turn. We'll go end step, make a Saga token. Untap, make a Saga token. They could have Dress Down, but we have the Loam going, so even if they have Dress Down, it's not the end of the world. Blue, white. Rest in Peace. Well, there goes my Loam. Do they have Rest in Peace plus Dress Down? That would suck. That would definitely suck. So then we don't have much else going on. That's probably worst case scenario, right? Rest in Peace plus Dress Down. I'm kind of surprised they have Dress Down. I haven't seen that out of these control decks yet. It's definitely something I have not seen. Alright. Make a construct. Untap. No, that one's not very good. I mean, we could hardcast it, but we can just hardcast it next turn. Let's get a cookbook. Yeah, that's all we have to get. Sure. Play this as a black source and go to attacks. Because they could also just have Verdict, right? I'm not going to play the Asmo into Verdict, so I'll just pass. I will just pass. And we'll get Verdicted. We'll sack a Construct to make 2 food. And then we'll untap, probably discard the Needle to cast the Asmo. Alright, shocker, there's the verdict. Nobody saw that one coming. Alright, Hallowed Fountain, 4 cards. Finale of Devastation. This actually works the way I want it to with Willow Geist, right? Exile it instead. What exactly is Willow Geist? The wording on Willow Geist? Let me take a look. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard. Well, if it's exiled instead, I don't think it actually works. It's a replacement effect. Yeah, I don't know what to do now. I guess I could... I'm kind of interested to see how it works, though. I think it might work the way I want it to. Let's just do it. I got nothing else to do anyways, so let's try it. Search for a Willow Geist. Let's see if this works. Does not work. Okay, well, probably shouldn't have gotten Willow Geist then. I thought it worked the way I wanted it to. Well, didn't I say? I said it probably didn't work the way I wanted it to, but, you know, I wanted to see what happened. That probably should have been reserved for a second Asmo, but, you know, hey, science. Science. I mean, I guess this is fine if I end up drawing a Force of Vigor or a trophy, but... Alright, Dex. Thank you. Blue, blue, blue. All right, they are choosing to... I should just sack it to the oven. All right, go. Not feeling great about this game. Not feeling great. Still have 4 cards in their hand. I should have sacked the Asmo to the oven and not sacked 2 food, but I don't know how much it's going to matter. I'm probably just dead. Man, unfortunate. All right, go. Man. I mean, I think this is a fairly good matchup, but they just drew a bunch of hate pieces, so... You know, like game 2, we got double Chalice. This game, we got Chalice Rest in Peace, and just not a lot we could have done about it. I think there was, like, maybe a situation where I could have, like, sacrificed something for an extra food, but... Yeah, they have 4 cards. I'm just kind of off it. I mean, we could wait a turn for Resolve this Troll King, but it's just not going to happen. So 2 and 3, a bit of an unfortunate showing. I do think that there's maybe something here with this deck, but I don't know. Maybe just bad pairings. I mean, the matches we won, you know, looked pretty good, and we got kind of destroyed by Hammer Time twice. That matchup seems abysmal. And then we lost to Blue-White Control when, you know, we won the post-board game, the pre-board game pretty easily, and then they just drew a bunch of sideboard cards games 2 and 3. So, which, you know, this deck is a little bit weaker to sideboard cards, given that you're, like, eschewing that additional angle of attack with the Nettle Cyst, and you're going more all-in with the Troll Kings, and you will be a little bit weaker to Graveyard Hate, so, you know. That's just kind of something you have to accept when you play a deck like this. But overall, I was moderately impressed. You know, didn't have the best showing, but I liked a lot of what's going on, and obviously I'm a big fan of playing Asmo, so, you know, I can't really complain. But that's all I got for today. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.